What do you think is the percentage that this somehow leads to a Spider-Verse film? Like, what is the percentage chance that we get a Spider-Verse film in the next 100 years?
In the next 100 years, I would say it's in the 90s. But
all right, now let's give it like, I don't know.
We'll say the next decade.
Sure.
I will say I think there's a 70% chance that it does.
70.
I think it's going to lead to something because both Sony and Marvel know this would be absolute money. You might as well just print the money right now, because I know I will go see this multiple times if it happens, because you take those three, like all three of those Spider-Man characters are beloved by their generation of people who watch them.
Yeah.
So I think, and with Marvel involved, I think there will be a plan, because that is something that Marvel has done extremely well. You look at what they did leading up to Endgame. They took 20 plus movies and they told a complete story.
Yeah.
So I think if we all know that Sony is not the best when it comes to planning things like that, but I think with Marvel involved, I have the faith. But yes, I do think it will happen.
Okay. Thomas, what about you?
I actually want to hear your percentage first.
35. I'm concerned that Garfield and Maguire are going to have nothing to do with this. That they're going to be like, no, and will refuse. That's where I'm stuck. I think that the creative people at Sony and Marvel would want to, for all the reasons Derek just said. I'm concerned that Garfield and Maguire are like, I'm not going back for this. Like, I'm that's in my past, man. Like, they're gonna be like, that phase of me is over. That's why I think it's such a low chance. It's just still feels like a dream to me. I mean, we'll see. I really hope. You have no idea, but I just don't see it. I mean, 35% I think is actually still pretty good. This would be crazy. Like, I mean, the Electro news it's like really good news, but this is still a big leap in my opinion. Getting both of them, we'll see. Thomas,
100%.
And here's why. You're hyping me up, man. You're getting me excited.
Tobey Maguire now has kids, right? Now, if there's one thing I've learned, if there's one thing I've learned, wrestlers and people who are like, I used to do these great things, always want their kids to see that. So it's like, oh yeah, you were Spider-Man back in the day, but you can't do it now. Then he'd be like, first off, go to your room and clean up the room. I don't parent, so I don't know. But he'd be like, okay, well, I get to be Spider-Man again, a different version, a totally evolved old Spider-Man. Like we got Peter B. Parker. Like that's a template, right? No, you take all of the things that you think about, like what he would want to do with the character, and just do it. With Andrew Garfield, now he would actually be able to come back in, and I think he got shit on just because the second movie was just bad.
Yeah.
And he did everything in his power to make it good. And so when it went bad, it was less about the fans and it was all about the creative BS.
Yeah.
Now, if Marvel is involved, if Disney is involved and Kevin Feige is involved, 100% chance. If they're not, I think there's a slightly smaller possibility, but I think it still happens because it's an opportunity to do something that they never thought of or dreamed of when they were Spider-Man. Yeah. And that is what makes it exciting as an actor to go back to a role that you were done with for, well, okay, almost 20 years for Tobey Maguire, and
it probably would be 20 years by the time.
By that point, eight years right now. Was it 14
for
that Amazing Spider-Man 2? Yep. Yes. So 6 years right now, and you know, if we have learned, okay, let me rephrase that. If I have learned anything from DC recently, with the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover and how they're now tying all the multiverses together, it's that what has come before not only matters, but you can make it matter more now.